Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life where you realize that you cannot rely on anyone but yourself. The truth is, every single person has to face the world alone at some point. Sure, we have families, friends, and communities that provide comfort and support, but ultimately you are the one who is responsible for navigating the storms, for making the hard decisions, and for charting the course of your own destiny. Now, you might think that this sounds harsh. You might be wondering, why would anyone want to be alone? The answer is that in solitude, in isolation, you find clarity. It is only when you are truly alone with yourself, without distractions, that you can truly face the questions that haunt you. Who are you? What do you stand for? And what are you willing to sacrifice to achieve your purpose in this world? The noise, the chaos, the constant demands of others. These things cloud your judgment and obscure your true path. You've been conditioned to think that success means being surrounded by others. And yes, it is true that some of the most successful people in the world have built networks, teams, and communities. But that success, it only came after they confronted their own inadequacies, their own darkness. It came after they spent time in solitude, learning who they were, developing the strength to push through the discomfort that arises when you are confronted with yourself. That's the hard truth. In order to grow, you must learn to stand alone. No one else can do the hard work for you. No one else can carry the weight of your fears, your doubts, your struggles. No one else can face the harsh realities of life on your behalf. You have to do that work. And it's in that solitude, that isolation, that you'll learn the most about your true potential. It's in that place of quiet reflection that you'll build the strength to face adversity and to endure. The world constantly tells you that you need to be with others to succeed, to be happy, to feel complete. But what if I told you that the very opposite is true? What if I told you that you are incomplete because you rely too heavily on the approval, validation, and expectations of others? You are living for them rather than for yourself. And that, my friend, is a recipe for disaster. The world will give you no lasting fulfillment. The praise of others is fleeting, and the judgment of others is often harsh and unkind. So, what's left for you when those external factors are stripped away? Who are you when no one else is around? The answer lies within you. It always has. You have been equipped with the strength, the ability, and the drive to succeed if only you can find it within yourself. You don't need anyone to tell you who you are, because deep down you already know. You may not have tapped into that potential yet, but it is there. And it is in your moments of solitude, in the quiet moments when you are forced to face yourself, that you begin to uncover it. When you are alone, you are forced to confront your weaknesses. You can no longer hide behind distractions or the validation of others. It's just you, your thoughts, your actions, your choices. And in that space, you can become the person you were always meant to be. In that solitude, you will build the fortitude to withstand the challenges that life throws your way. You will develop the resilience to endure hardship and to thrive despite it. It's important to understand that this is not a call to reject others or to live in complete isolation. Humans are social creatures, and we do need connection. But there's a crucial difference between relying on others to define who you are and seeking healthy relationships where both individuals are strong. You become someone who adds value to the relationships in your life rather than taking from them. So embrace the loneliness. It is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is in those quiet moments that you find the courage to face the truth about who you are and who you are capable of becoming. It is in those moments that you build the character, the resilience, and the strength to navigate the world on your own terms. And when you do, you will find that the world becomes a far less intimidating place. Being alone doesn't mean being weak. It means you have the courage to face yourself, to confront your fears, and to do the hard work necessary to move forward. It means that you are no longer seeking validation from external sources, but instead you are relying on your own inner strength to guide you through the storms of life. So when you find yourself alone, don't run from it. Don't seek to fill the silence with distractions. Instead, sit with it, learn from it. Because in those moments of solitude, you will find the person you are meant to be. And that is the person who will change the world. True growth comes from self-reliance because in the end, no one else can walk your journey for you. People can support you, offer advice, and lend a helping hand, but the transformation you seek, whether it's emotional, spiritual, or personal, can only happen when you take responsibility for your own development. It's easy to rely on others, to hope for them to carry you through life's trials. It's tempting to lean on the idea that someone else will give you the direction, the approval, or the safety net you need. But this reliance ultimately stunts your growth because it denies you the opportunity to build your own strength, wisdom, and resilience. When you place the responsibility for your success, your happiness, or your well-being in the hands of others, you relinquish control over your own life. And when you relinquish control, you also relinquish the ability to shape your future. The truth is, you are the only one who can change your circumstances. You are the only one who can dig deep into the reserves of your potential and push yourself forward, even when it feels impossible. Relying on others gives you the illusion of security, but it keeps you tethered to a false sense of dependency. It prevents you from experiencing the inner strength that arises when you learn to stand on your own. Self-reliance isn't about shutting others out or rejecting the help of those who care about you. It's about understanding that your inner compass, your values, and your decisions are yours to guide you. The more you trust yourself, the more you begin to see that you are capable of far more than you give yourself credit for. At the core of true growth is the realization that you don't need to wait for someone else to change your circumstances for you. You are capable of altering your path with your own decisions and actions. When you take responsibility for your own growth, you stop waiting for things to be easy. You stop waiting for someone to solve your problems or for your circumstances to magically improve. Instead, you embrace the struggle as part of the process. It is in the struggle that you develop the resilience to withstand life's difficulties. Without struggle, there can be no growth. Without facing adversity on your own, there can be no understanding of your strength. Self-reliance teaches you how to endure, how to push forward when everything within you screams for you to stop. You also begin to understand the value of your own time and energy when you embrace self-reliance. When you depend on others, you often outsource your decisions, your focus, and your drive. You end up wasting time waiting for someone else to take action. When you rely on yourself, you learn the importance of prioritizing your own efforts and recognizing that you are the only one who can make the choices that will lead you to where you want to go. You stop waiting for permission, for circumstances to align perfectly, or for the approval of others. Instead, you take action. You trust that each step you take, even the uncertain ones, is moving you closer to where you need to be. But perhaps most importantly, self-reliance breeds confidence. Confidence doesn't come from external accolades or validation. It comes from knowing that you can handle what comes your way. When you have faced challenges on your own, when you've navigated the toughest moments of your life without falling apart, you begin to realize that you can handle even more. You start to recognize that the fear of failure is far less significant than the strength it takes to keep moving forward in spite of it. This internal confidence doesn't come from accomplishments or recognition. It comes from knowing that no matter what, you can count on yourself to face the unknown, to persevere, and to adapt. It's important to recognize that self-reliance is not about isolation. It's not about cutting yourself off from the support and guidance of others. Rather, it's about recognizing that the power to change your life is within you. External sources of help are valuable and necessary, but they should not define your worth or your path. The people who truly thrive in life are those who have learned to depend on their own strength, to trust their instincts, and to embrace their own potential. It's about knowing that ultimately you are the one who will carry you through every challenge, every setback, and every triumph. When you choose self-reliance, you choose to own your narrative. You stop waiting for things to change externally, and you start making the changes you need to make within. It is in that choice that you unlock the true power of growth. Solitude reveals clarity because when you're alone, the distractions of the outside world fade away and you're left with nothing but your own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. In a world full of noise, whether it's social media, constant conversations, or the pressures of society, it's all too easy to lose sight of who you are and what truly matters to you. We fill our time with activities with other people and with external demands because it's easier to ignore the discomfort of facing ourselves. But in solitude, when the noise stops, the clarity emerges. It's in those moments of silence that you can hear your own voice for the first time in a long while. You can hear your innermost desires, the ones you've buried beneath layers of external expectations. You can face the things you've been avoiding, whether it's unresolved trauma, dreams you've been too afraid to chase, or truths about yourself that you've denied. It's only in solitude that you can allow these things to surface and confront them head on. In the quiet, you have the space to process, to reflect, and to make sense of what has been clouded by the noise of life. You don't have to be physically alone to experience solitude. Sometimes you just need to create moments of stillness in your life, whether it's by taking a walk by yourself, sitting in a quiet room, or disconnecting from technology. In these moments, you create the space to let your mind settle. The constant chatter in your head, the self-doubt, the anxiety, all of these things begin to quiet down. You're no longer overwhelmed by the opinions and judgments of others, and you can start to hear your own voice more clearly. When you can hear that voice, you can start to understand yourself better. You can ask yourself the hard questions. Questions like, what do I really want? What do I truly stand for? And what am I willing to do to get there? Clarity doesn't always come in an instant. It doesn't come without discomfort. Sometimes the stillness reveals things you're not ready to face. But that's okay. That's part of the process. The discomfort is temporary, and the clarity that follows can change the entire trajectory of your life. When you embrace solitude, you learn to become comfortable with the discomfort. You understand that without facing the challenges within, you can't truly progress. The external world often tells you what you should do, what you should value, and who you should be. It offers you a roadmap to follow, one that's already been laid out by society, by culture, and by others. But this roadmap isn't yours. It's someone else's. When you are alone without these external influences, you are forced to create your own path. You can reflect on your own values, priorities, and principles and begin to carve out a life that's authentic to you. In solitude, you can strip away the layers of conditioning and begin to uncover what's truly important to you. Free from the judgments of others, in solitude you also gain the opportunity to evaluate your past actions and decisions. You can ask yourself where you went wrong and what you could have done differently, but in a way that's productive, not self-critical. This evaluation is crucial for growth because it allows you to learn from your mistakes rather than repeat them. By taking a step back and reflecting on your choices, you begin to see the patterns that have shaped your life, both the positive ones and the negative ones. This insight is invaluable because it allows you to take control of your future decisions with a clearer sense of self-awareness. Additionally, solitude allows you to deepen your understanding of the world around you. Without the constant bombardment of external opinions and pressures, you have the freedom to observe life from your own perspective. You can question assumptions, challenge societal norms, and develop a worldview that is uniquely yours. In this way, solitude isn't just about self-reflection. It's also about expanding your capacity for critical thinking and independent thought. You learn to trust your judgment and your ability to make decisions, even when they go against the grain of conventional wisdom. The clarity you find in solitude is not just intellectual, it's emotional too. When you spend time alone, you give yourself the space to process emotions that you might otherwise suppress or ignore. Whether it's sadness, anger, joy, or fear, solitude provides the environment for you to feel deeply and to understand your emotions on a deeper level. This emotional clarity is crucial for personal growth because it enables you to be honest with yourself and to deal with your emotions in a healthy way, rather than letting them fester or dictate your actions unconsciously. Solitude reveals clarity because it creates the conditions for you to reconnect with yourself. It forces you to face your own inner world, to confront the things that may have been buried for years, and to finally understand who you truly are. In a world that constantly demands your attention and energy, solitude offers you the opportunity to reconnect with the most important person in your life, you. It allows you to clear the mental fog and to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. In the stillness, you can make sense of your past, your present, and your future with a new sense of awareness and understanding. External validation is fleeting, and it's crucial to recognize that relying on it for your sense of self-worth only sets you up for disappointment. Validation from others can feel good in the moment. It can be affirming and satisfying when people praise your achievements, recognize your talents, or approve of your choices. But the reality is that this type of validation is temporary. It's dependent on other people's opinions, which are ever-changing and influenced by their own biases, experiences, and desires. If your sense of self is tied to these external markers, you are placing your identity in something that is unstable and unreliable. The problem with relying on external validation is that it's inherently out of your control. You can't control what others think of you, nor can you predict how they will respond to your actions. One day you might receive praise and the next criticism. These fluctuations can create emotional turbulence as your self-esteem becomes tethered to the whims of others. If your worth is based on what others think, then your sense of value will constantly be in flux, leaving you feeling unstable and uncertain. This is why it's so important to separate your self-worth from external approval. At the core of this is the understanding that no one else can define who you are. External validation can be a nice affirmation, but it should not be the foundation upon which you build your identity. If you are constantly seeking approval from others, you're essentially handing over the power to shape your life to them. You're saying, I need your permission to be who I am. But the truth is, your worth is not something that can be given or taken away by others. It is intrinsic, something that is yours regardless of what others think or say. When you stop seeking constant validation, you free yourself from the cycle of dependence on others' opinions. You begin to rely more on your own internal compass, the set of values, principles, and beliefs that you develop through self-reflection and life experience. This internal validation becomes far more powerful and long-lasting than any external praise ever could. It's rooted in who you are, not who others want you to be. Additionally, when you rely on external validation, you are likely to find yourself living inauthentically. You may start to shape your actions and decisions based on what others expect of you, rather than what feels right for you. This might mean choosing a career path because it garners approval from your family or friends, or behaving in ways that make you more socially acceptable rather than true to your own values. Living like this means you're constantly molding yourself to fit someone else's image of who you should be. You become a reflection of other people's desires and expectations, not your own. By seeking validation externally, you're also giving up the freedom to explore your own unique path. You become focused on meeting external standards rather than discovering what truly drives and fulfills you. It's easy to fall into the trap of living for the approval of others, especially when the culture around you often rewards conformity and compliance. But the most fulfilling lives are not those that seek to please everyone. When you step away from the need for external validation, you also create space for deeper self-awareness. Instead of constantly measuring yourself against the opinions of others, you start to measure your progress against your own internal standards. You can evaluate your actions, behaviors, and decisions based on your personal growth, not on how well they align with the expectations of others. This shift allows you to move forward with a sense of purpose, knowing that you are doing what is right for you, not what will earn the approval of others. It's also worth noting that external validation can sometimes be toxic. Praise and approval are often given selectively, and they are not always genuine. People may offer praise to manipulate, control, or make themselves feel better, and sometimes criticism comes from jealousy, insecurity, or a desire to see you fail. If you base your self-worth on these fluctuating judgments, you are subjecting yourself to a cycle of emotional highs and lows that ultimately have no real bearing on your true value. The only reliable source of validation is your own understanding of your worth, which is not subject to the moods, preferences, or agendas of others. In fact, some of the greatest achievements and most significant changes in history have come from individuals who were criticized, rejected, or misunderstood. If these people had based their worth on external validation, they never would have had the courage to push boundaries, challenge norms, or pursue their dreams. External validation might keep you comfortable in the short term, but it is the internal drive and belief in your own worth that pushes you to create something lasting, something meaningful. In the end, external validation may come and go, but your internal sense of worth is something that remains constant when you nurture it. The more you recognize this, the less you will feel the need to seek approval or permission from others. Instead, you'll be empowered to act from a place of self-confidence and authenticity. You'll stop measuring your worth by others' standards and begin to see yourself as the ultimate authority in your own. Life is full of trials, and while it's tempting to avoid discomfort or to seek an easy path, it is the moments of difficulty that shape you into the person you're capable of becoming. When you face challenges head-on, you are forced to dig deep, to summon every ounce of courage and resourcefulness you have, and to learn how to endure. It's through this process that you build strength, not just physical or mental, but emotional and spiritual as well. The reality is that strength isn't something you're born with, it's something that is forged through experience. Imagine a blacksmith working with raw metal, applying intense heat and pressure to shape it into something strong and durable. This is how your character is developed. The heat of life's challenges and the pressure of adversity are the forces that mold you, shaping you into someone capable of handling even more difficult situations down the road. It's only when you step into the fire that you begin to see what you're truly made of. Facing challenges forces you to confront your own weaknesses and limitations. This can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also an essential part of growth. In those moments, you might feel like giving up. You begin to see where you're vulnerable, where you need to improve, and where your strengths lie. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to get better, to refine your abilities, and to strengthen your resolve. Over time, as you continue to face challenges, you start to realize that the things that once seemed insurmountable are no longer as intimidating. Your capacity for resilience increases because you've built it through repeated encounters with difficulty. There is a common misconception that the path to success is smooth, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Success is not about avoiding challenges, it's about learning how to navigate them. The people who succeed are often the ones who have faced the most adversity and use those experiences to grow. Whether it's overcoming personal loss, facing failure, dealing with rejection, or simply managing the everyday difficulties of life, it's these challenges that ultimately define who you become. You don't build strength by avoiding struggle. You build it by embracing it, by pushing yourself when everything inside you wants to quit. Moreover, facing challenges develops emotional resilience. Life is full of setbacks and disappointments, and the emotional toll of these events can be overwhelming. However, by facing these emotional challenges head-on, you learn how to process and deal with your emotions in a healthy way. You learn not to be controlled by fear, anger, or sadness, but to acknowledge these emotions, understand them, and use them as fuel for growth. Emotional strength isn't about being immune to negative emotions. It's about learning how to respond to them effectively. When you learn how to endure emotional pain and bounce back from setbacks, you develop a kind of inner fortitude that allows you to keep moving forward, no matter what life throws at you. In addition, personal challenges help you build the mindset necessary for long-term success. It's easy to give up when things get hard, but those who are able to push through their struggles develop a growth mindset, one that views failure as an opportunity to learn rather than a reason to quit. This mindset allows you to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones on the way to success. It encourages you to keep going even when the path ahead seems unclear or when progress is slow. The more you face challenges, the more you begin to see them as an inevitable part of your journey rather than something to avoid or fear. This perspective shift is one of the most powerful ways to build long-lasting strength. When you face your challenges, you also gain confidence in your ability to handle future obstacles. Each time you successfully navigate a difficult situation, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. This growing confidence becomes an asset, allowing you to face new challenges with a sense of assurance that you can find solutions, learn from the experience, and emerge stronger. This sense of competence doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from rising to meet them and learning from the process. Furthermore, overcoming challenges develops a sense of purpose. When you face hardships, whether personal or professional, you are often forced to question your goals, your values, and your priorities. These moments of reflection can lead to greater clarity about what you truly want out of life. The process of navigating difficulty helps you hone in on your deeper motivations and gives you a clearer sense of direction. As you overcome obstacles, you begin to realize that the challenges you face aren't just random or purposeless. They are shaping you into the person who can achieve your goals and fulfill your potential. Ultimately, the strength that comes from facing personal challenges isn't something that can be bought or given to you by others. It is something you must cultivate yourself through your own efforts, decisions, and perseverance. It is something that is earned through the process of stepping into the unknown, confronting your fears, and overcoming the obstacles that life inevitably places in your path. When you face challenges with determination, you build a strength that is not only physical or mental, but emotional, psychological, and spiritual. A strength that will serve you throughout your entire life. Loneliness is an opportunity for self-discovery because it is only when we are alone that we are truly forced to confront ourselves without distractions or the influence of others. In the absence of external noise and the need for validation from those around us, we are left to engage with our inner thoughts and emotions. This space of solitude allows us to explore who we really are, free from societal pressures or the expectations of friends, family, or peers. It's in this silence that we can uncover truths about ourselves that may have been buried beneath layers of conformity, fear, or distraction. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to lose sight of our own identity. We adapt, we conform, and we shape ourselves in response to the people around us, whether it's to fit into social groups, to gain approval, or simply to avoid conflict. But in moments of solitude, there is no need to perform, to pretend, or to please anyone. There's just you and your authentic self. This can be both daunting and enlightening because it forces us to face the parts of ourselves that we may have avoided or neglected. The discomfort of being alone often comes from the fear of confronting these parts of ourselves, but this is exactly where the opportunity for self-discovery lies. Through solitude, we have the chance to reflect on our past experiences, our successes, our failures, and our choices. We begin to ask ourselves important questions such as, what do I truly value? What motivates me? What are my deepest fears, and how do they shape my actions? These questions can only be answered when we are alone with ourselves, in a place of quiet reflection. In the noise of daily life, these questions may be drowned out by the demands of work, relationships, or social media. But in solitude, we have the time and space to dive into these internal inquiries and explore the answers. The clarity we gain from this self-exploration can lead to profound insights about our desires, our purpose, and our goals in life. Loneliness also offers the opportunity to connect with our own emotions in a more meaningful way. When we're surrounded by others, we often wear masks or suppress our emotions to meet social expectations. We might hide our sadness, dismiss our anxieties, or push aside our anger in order to avoid conflict or to appear strong. But when we are alone, we have the chance to truly feel our emotions, to sit with them without judgment. This allows us to understand what we are truly experiencing rather than ignoring or numbing our emotions. In this space, we can process our feelings more deeply, gaining greater emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate our emotions with more awareness and control. Solitude also encourages self-reliance and independence. When we are alone, we are forced to rely on our own resources to meet our needs, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental. This reliance on oneself can be incredibly empowering, as it builds confidence in our ability to navigate the world on our own terms. We learn to trust our judgment, our intuition, and our ability to solve problems without depending on others. Over time, this sense of self-reliance fosters a deeper sense of autonomy and personal strength, which becomes a foundation for resilience when challenges arise. Moreover, loneliness can be a powerful catalyst for creativity. When we are constantly surrounded by other people and stimuli, our minds are often cluttered, making it difficult to think deeply or tap into our creative potential. In solitude, however, our minds have the space to wander, to make new connections, and to think outside the box. Without the distractions of daily life, we are free to explore new ideas, experiment with new ways of thinking, and delve into creative pursuits that may have been stifled by external pressures. This kind of creative self-expression often arises from a place of solitude, where we are able to connect more deeply with our inner world and bring that energy into the physical world through writing, art, music, or other forms of expression. In addition, loneliness helps us cultivate a deeper relationship with ourselves. We are often so busy focusing on others, on maintaining relationships, meeting the expectations of those around us, or simply staying busy, that we forget to take the time to nurture our own well-being. Solitude gives us the opportunity to check in with ourselves, to care for our own needs, and to practice self-compassion. It's in these moments that we learn how to be our own best friend, to offer ourselves the same kindness, patience, and love that we often extend to others. This self-nurturing allows us to build a stronger, more compassionate relationship with ourselves, which in turn enables us to be more present and compassionate in our relationships with others. Lastly, loneliness teaches us to embrace impermanence. We live in a world where everything is constantly changing. Relationships evolve, circumstances shift, and people come and go. When we are alone, we are reminded of the transient nature of life and the importance of being comfortable in our own company. We learn to embrace solitude as a natural part of the human experience, rather than something to fear or avoid. This acceptance of impermanence allows us to live more fully in the present moment, to appreciate the time we have with others, and to let go of attachments that no longer serve us. In essence, loneliness is not something to run from. It is a doorway to profound self-discovery. It is in the moments of solitude that we have the opportunity to understand ourselves on a deeper level, to process our emotions, to tap into our creative potential, and to build a stronger, more resilient sense of self. Embracing loneliness allows us to become more self-aware, self-reliant, and connected to our true nature, paving the way for greater personal growth and fulfillment. In conclusion, the journey towards self-growth and fulfillment is deeply rooted in our ability to confront solitude, embrace challenges, and rely on our inner strength. It is through facing our personal struggles, reflecting in the stillness of our own thoughts, and rejecting the fleeting nature of external validation that we build resilience and clarity. Solitude, rather than being something to fear, provides us the opportunity to reconnect with who we truly are, to discover our own potential, and to redefine our purpose in life. The path is not always easy, but it is in these moments of adversity and quiet that we find the true strength to rise above. Ultimately, you are the one who holds the power to shape your future, to transform your weaknesses into strengths, and to define your own worth. Life will always present you with obstacles, but remember, it's through those very obstacles that you will uncover your greatest potential. So embrace the silence, stand firm in your own truth, and face the challenges ahead with confidence. The power to thrive, to evolve, and to achieve is already within you.